Hello, I'm Daniel Rester,
And I'm Luke Carpenter.
and this is Movieholic. Today we're going to be reviewing Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides.
Death lies before us as we sail to the fountain of youth.
You could guide an expedition. You are Jack Sparrow.
There should be a captain in there somewhere.
Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides is now the fourth in this series of Pirates movies, and returning we get Johnny Depp, but this time they drop off Orlando Bloom and Keira Knightley and instead give us a focus on Depp, and now we also get Penelope Cruz as a supporting role as Angelica, who may or may not be the daughter of Blackbeard, played by Ian McShane from the HBO series Deadwood. On Stranger Tides opens with Captain Jack Sparrow trying to save his friend, Mr. Gibbs. From there, Sparrow ends up teaming up with Angelica and Blackbeard, while Gibbs teams up with Barbossa, again played by Jeffrey Rush. Also, we get a third group of people who aren't really developed here, which are the Spanish group. Now, all three of these groups are trying to head towards the Fountain of Youth. However, only Sparrow and Gibbs seem to know partial whereabouts of where the Fountain of Youth actually is. This leads to all sorts of double crossings throughout the film. Throughout all of these double crossings, we get a lot more swordplay. We also get a subplot including a mermaid and a missionary falling in love. It's obvious in Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides that Depp is still in touch with the character he made famous 8 years ago and got his first Oscar nomination for. And I did enjoy this film in that it wasn't as overblown as the third entry was. It's got a lighter touch to it. Probably because the director switch. Now we get Rob Marshall, who gave us Chicago back in 2002, replacing Gore Verbinski. And as I said, Depp is still fun. Cruz brings some good flavor to it, and there's some good funny moments and some action scenes. But in the end, I really think that it's just more of the same, and it's really just starting to get tired in the series. So I'm going to go with 2 stars on this one.
Yeah, it was kind of like an overused theme of the pirates going around and do what they want. And Johnny Depp steals the show.
Again.
Yeah, as usual. He's doing a great job. He keeps the movie fun. It's not like the plot is outstanding or anything, but since Johnny Depp really does do a great job with the character and has decent action and it still managed to keep the movie fun, I'm giving it a 2.5.
2.5? Really?
Yeah, really.
One of the biggest problems I had about this entry in the series is that they dropped off Orlando Bloom and Keira Knightley, which I'm not saying is a bad thing on its own. I thought they were alright in the other movies. Depp stole the show, obviously, in the other 3 films as well. But to replace them in this, it's like they brought in a new, smaller romance, like way towards the end of the film, between a mermaid and a missionary, which I thought was just tacked on to the story and was really unnecessary.
Yeah, it really seemed like they wanted to replace the Will Elizabeth thing that they had going on.
Yeah, and they should have just totally gotten rid of it, or keep it in there, but not just have a tiny little bit of it with new characters that we don't even really care about.
Plus, even at the end of the movie, you see nothing that comes out of it. It's like they profess their love and then the movie's over, and that's all. Nothing happens.
All the mermaids are bad, except this one's nice, and then we get a nice missionary guy, and
among
not
this
really
ridiculous pirate crew led by Blackbeard, who's completely ruthless.
Yeah, which McShane does do a good job as Blackbeard.
He was definitely one of the more excellent actors in the film.
Yeah, I thought he paused a little too much at times, but he still did a good job, and I thought Jeffrey Rush was still pretty excellent as Barbossa.
Barbossa has been consistently great supporting character.
Yeah, him and Depp are still really good together. They still shine together, especially one part where they're in the jungle together, tied to trees. I thought that was a really entertaining scene.
That was good. I loved, this is a small spoiler, but I really loved how Barbossa, who only has one leg now, has a bottle of rum inside of his wooden leg. It's really awesome. I'm going to cut off my leg and have a flask in my right leg.
He doesn't cut it off.
He does cut it off.
Oh, yes, he does cut it off, actually, but it's because of Blackbeard.
Yeah.
That's another sub-point in the movie, which that isn't bad, but I just think the romance subplot was just a little too much.
Which I'm a little glad that they didn't try and make like Barbossa's little revenge too big. They didn't blow it out of proportion. They just kept it small. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna kill him,
I agree with
and
that.
that was it. And they just said it, and they went on with the film. They didn't put too much emphasis on it, and it worked out okay.
Though I'm only giving the film 2 stars, I thought it was still pretty good family fun. Depp still shines, and there's still a few good action scenes. A lot of the sword plays, I think, is just getting kind of boring now, though. It was a lot of fun way back in Curse of the Black Pearl. Alright, so overall, I'm sticking with my 2 stars to this film. I think that it was fun at times, but the smaller romance subplot trying to make up for missing Orlando Bloom and Keira Knightley sort of killed it for me. Penelope Cruz and Ian McShane bring some freshness to it, and Jeffrey Rush is still entertaining. And the film isn't bad. Some good action scenes, some good effects, but it's really just seems sort of tired compared to the first film and the second film. But it's not as overblown as the third one. That's what I liked about it. It had a lighter touch, but I still don't think it was very good.
I will say that it was a lot of fun, and Johnny Depp
Yeah,
it's pretty much the only reason I watched it.
Depp is still great.
Yeah, he is. They could be, instead of Pirates of the Caribbean, they could call it Jack Sparrow, and that everyone would be happy with it because he's pretty much the only thing going for the series, really.
So that's our review this week for Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides. I think that it's fair, while Luke here seems to think that it's a little better than fair.
If at least, I'd say just go watch it because it's another Pirates movie.
Yeah, it's alright. It's not a total disaster. Depp's still good, so that makes it okay.
So, this is Movie Hawk, and thanks for watching.
Did everyone see that? Because I will not be doing it again.